Hot is good. Hare Krishna. Kartal. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Sita Ram, Jayo Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram, Jayo Lakshman Hanuman, Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Radha, Nila Madhav Radha, Nila Madhav Radhe, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nittai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you all to our 3-day seminar that we're going to be talking. So, just I'll give you all a brief introduction of what I'm going to be doing in the next 3 days. There was a point in time where I started doing some research on what attracts human beings and their mindsets. And I realized one of the most powerful things that human beings are attracted towards is mysticism. Mysticism means something that is completely magical, something that cannot happen, something that is beyond human comprehension. That is something that human beings are very attracted towards. And that's why books like Harry Potter become so successful, fascination beyond comprehension, basically. And then I felt that whatever is there in today's world in terms of magic, mysticism, etc., it has to be there in our scriptures also. So I started searching for stories in our scriptures that are as mystical, as magical, and beyond comprehension, like Harry Potter. And interestingly, I found not one, not two, I found 11 such stories. And I decided to write a book based on these 11 stories. So I wrote a book called Mystical Tales for a Magical Life. This book has 11 stories that I call them as crazy stories. And I'm going to tell you 3 such crazy stories in the next 3 days, basically. And as I tell you all these stories, you'll realize this is madness, pure madness. But each story has such profound understandings for life That's what makes them special. So Harry Potter is madness for sure, but in the end of it, what do you learn? Not too much, isn't it? You feel entertained a lot, but these stories you will definitely feel entertained. I mean, you will, as I'm going to narrate the story, you will feel that you are sitting in a movie theater and there's a full fledged action movie going on. And it's all strange things will happen, you know. You will laugh, you will cry, a lot of things will happen, emotions will happen basically. But along with that, we will learn something in our life. So with every story, you'll learn something powerful for your life. So that's the mood in which we're going to be doing the next 3 days. And as I told you, I promise you all full entertainment. And I love these stories because they're just so hilarious and so sweet, you know. Uh, but at the same time, we'll learn a lot as we are going through these stories. So please join me in this fun journey over the next 3 days, and we will explore some very special stories from our scriptures. So I'll begin with a very interesting story. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tell you one big story, and within that one big story, I'll tell you small stories in between also, you know. So it will be like a big ocean of stories overall. One time, um, Akbar, he asked his minister Birbal a question. He said, Birbal, Birbal is so intelligent, he is so smart, you know. So he said, um, how come all of us, we don't have, you know, hair on the hand, on the palms? So you wanted to just hear Birbal's version of this, you know, thing. So now how do you give an answer to such a question, right? So Birbal said, we don't have hair on the palm, you don't have hair on the palm because you give so much charity, you know. Because you give so much charity, therefore there is no hair on your palms. So then Akbar said, why you don't have hair on your palms? So Birbal said, I receive so much from you, so I don't have any hair on my palms. So then Akbar said, why all these ministers don't have hair on their palms? Birbal said, because they are so envious of me, they rub their hands in envy and therefore they don't have hair on their palms. Akbar was fascinated by his answer. You know, sometimes in life, all we need is a good laughter. So, a lot of people that we meet in life, in fact, all of us also to a great extent, you know, we become very serious in life over a period of time, isn't it? If you actually look at children, they laugh all the time and they don't need a reason to laugh also. Just like that, they laugh, isn't it? But as you become older and older, we just forget how to laugh and we forget to enjoy the small pleasures of life. So, once in a while, when we hear stories like the one we're going to hear now, it will remind us of our childhood days when we used to laugh happily, when we used to laugh blissfully, you know. And nowadays, people are so serious; they just don't have time to laugh. I go to some of these very big corporate events and I'm giving lectures, and sometimes I'm cracking jokes, and I see in front of me an audience that no reaction only on their face. They are neither laughing nor crying, nothing, absolutely blank faces, you know. So sometimes I wonder what's happening, you know. Do they actually hear what I'm saying? Sometimes I just feel like shaking them up, asking, you know, what's happening to you, you know. So when we study the scriptures give us all types of rasas. It gives us all types of mellows so that we can have a complete life and we can have a full experience of life. So this story is a story of a student named Uttanka. So Uttanka was a wonderful student of a guru named Veda. So Veda was a powerful guru, And his disciple Uttanka was a powerful disciple. And every year from the Gurukul, students would pass out. And naturally, when a student would pass out, they would thank the Guru for, giving them education. And then they would go. They would give some Guru Dakshina, they would go back. They would live regular lives. So when Uttanka passed out of the Gurukul, Veda, his Guru, told him, "You are so nice. I don't want you to go. Can you stay one more year? Be with me." Uttanka said, "You're my teacher, you're requesting, so I'll stay." So Uttanka stayed one more year to be with the Guru. He served the Guru, he served the Guru's wife, Guru Ma. And Uttanka was very happy. One more year passed, more students passed out. And the Veda said, "Uttanka, you're such a nice boy. Can you stay one more year? I like you so much." So Uttanka said, "Okay, for you I'll stay." Stayed one more year. And like this, one year after another, 100 years passed. And he's still in the Gurukul only. Now imagine, you're in 10th grade, you're passing out. The teacher tells you, "Can you please stay one more year?" Which student will stay? And that took 100 years. The 100 years passed and Uttanka was getting fed up, basically. And Uttanka, one day he went to his Guru and said, "Please, can I go? I want to go now. I have done." So Veda also felt bad, how many years I'll make him stay. He said, "Fine, it's time to let go of Uttanka." So Veda told Uttanka, "I am fine, you can go. You have my full blessings. But only go and meet your Guru Ma, my wife, and take permission from her and you go." So Uttanka went to Guru Ma. Now imagine if you get a free servant at home in America, who will leave the person? So Guru Ma, she felt very bad. She said, "If he goes, then who's going to do all my work?" She said she didn't want to let go. So then she put a condition for Uttanka to go. She said, "Uttanka, you can go if you do one thing for me." So Uttanka said, "What should I do?" She said, "You get me the earrings of Queen Zanena." So she has a mystical earrings. You get me the earrings of this queen and then you can go. But you have to get me this earrings by sunset. So if you get any late than sunset, then you can't go. So Uttanka was happy. At least he has one chance to get out from the Gurukul. So he said, "Okay," immediately, without understanding what it means to get the earrings of Queen Zanena. Usually, letting go is not easy because a lot of times we hold on to things and we're not able to let go easily, isn't it? So there was a boy who had a very strange mother. So they were born in a very poor family. His father died very early, and the mother once was working in houses, doing small odd jobs and making some money. But his mother, whatever money she earned, she gave away half in charity. So this boy was very upset with his mother. He went to his mother and he asked her, "What are you doing? Little bit we earn, and that also half you're giving away in charity. What about me? I have so many desires. You're not giving anything to me. You're giving away in charity like this. Why do you do that?" He asked his mother. His mother said, "See, I'm an uneducated lady. I don't know all this. If you want to know why I do all this, go to Lord Brahma and ask him." This boy set out from the house to go to meet Lord Brahma. And he wanted to ask Brahma why my mother is doing like this. So as he was going to meet Lord Brahma, on the way, he passed through a kingdom and he met a king. And this king came to know that this boy is going to meet Lord Brahma. The king said, "I have a question to ask Lord Brahma. Can you ask on my behalf?" He said, "I built a huge lake over here in my kingdom. And I built that lake for the welfare of my people. But that lake doesn't fill up with water only. Can you ask Brahma why the lake is not filled with water? He said, okay. And he was going further. And he met one crippled man who was on a wheelchair. This crippled man said, since you're going to meet Lord Brahma, I have a question. Can you ask him? He said, why am I crippled like this? What did I do wrong? So he said, fine, I'll ask. Then he went a little further. He saw a tree. And this tree spoke to this man and he said, can you please ask Brahma one question? I have such beautiful leaves on such a beautiful tree, but why I don't have any fruits on my tree? So he said, okay, I'll ask. And then finally, as he was going to go, one snake, it was stuck in a hole. It was not able to go in, it was not able to come out. So the snake told this man, can you please ask Brahma why I'm stuck like this? So he said, fine, I'll ask. And he finally reached Lord Brahma. And he said, I have many questions to ask you. And then he said one by one all the questions he asked. And Brahma, he immediately told him, all these people, you tell them only one answer. The one answer is that all of them are holding on to something. If they just let go of that one thing that they're holding on to, they will get solution to their problems. So he told, tell the king that he has a young daughter whom he loves so much, he is not ready to give her away in marriage only. The day he marries his daughter, the lake will fill up. And then he told him, tell the crippled man that he is holding on to a lot of knowledge. The day he shares his knowledge, he will become alright. And he said, tell the tree that the tree is holding on a treasure under its roots. The day the tree gives off the treasure, it will get fruits. And tell that snake that on its head it's holding on a diamond. The day it gives away the diamond, it will become free. And then he said, what about my question? Brahma said, once you tell them all, you will get answer to your question automatically. So imagine he went all the way to Brahma for his question. He got answers for others. So he came down and he first told the king that, the Brahma has told that if you marry your daughter, immediately your problem will solve. The king became so happy, he married his daughter to that boy only. So suddenly this fellow had a wife, And then he went and told the crippled man that you should share your knowledge. You will immediately get relief. This crippled man shared all his knowledge with this boy only. So suddenly this boy got so much knowledge, And then he went to told the tree, you should share the treasure under your roots. The tree gave the treasure to him only. And the snake gave the diamond to him only. And suddenly he became so rich, he had a wife, he had so much knowledge. And then he realized his mother has been giving half of wealth away in charity, and look at what has come back. So much more he got back, isn't it? So just like we hold on to things here, Vedas' wife, she was not able to let go of this boy. And she was trying to hold on to him and somehow trick him to stay back. But Utanka wanted his freedom. He walked out from that place, very determined that he will get his freedom. He went to his guru Veda and he told him, Vedama has told me like this, that I need to get this earrings. I'm going to try. All the other students in the ashram, they told him, forget it. Getting the earrings of Queen Zanena is next to impossible. Don't even try. His own guru told him, very risky. What you're going to do is almost next to impossible. And then, seeing the determination of Utanka, Veda said, I'll give you my blessings. I'm going to be there with you. So like that he said, and Utanka left. So now Utanka had two options. The first option was, keep quiet and stay in the ashram. His basic needs are taken care of, isn't it? Food, clothing, shelter, everything is taken care. Only thing is that he has to keep quiet and serve over there. If he is keeping quiet and serving over there, he doesn't have to worry for the rest of his life. The second option was, go out and try to get that earrings of Queen Zanana. Very tough, very complicated mission. But the price for that, for whatever he has to get that jewel, if he manages to get that, the result of that is that lifelong freedom. So this fellow decided, I will do it. There are two types of people in this world. 98% of the people in this world fall in one category, and 2% of people in this world fall in another category. 98% of people in this world fall in a category which is known as comfort zone. Comfort zone essentially means that they have a fear that if I take a risk in life, what will happen to me? 98% of people in this world want a risk-free life. They don't want to take any risks. Because if they take any risk, they feel, what if it goes wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? So much they are in anxiety that they don't want to take any risk. And in the end, they end up having a very routine, regular life. And then there are 2% people of the world who decide, chalo, we'll take a risk in life and see what happens. And that 2% of people in this world, they are the ones who actually enjoy life. They are the ones who actually, and they in fact end up making much more than the 98%. So here, Uttanka decided, I will go ahead and try. When he left the ashram, he started walking towards the kingdom of King Pushya and Queen Zanana. As he was walking on this path towards the kingdom, on the highway where he was walking, right in the middle of the highway, he saw this huge bull. The bull was 10 times the size of the regular bulls. And on top of that bull was a huge giant sitting. This man, Uttanka, didn't know what to do. It was a very daunting scene in front of him. So this man who was sitting on that bull, he told him, you cannot go further till you do what I am telling you to do. So this Uttanka was a little scared. He didn't know what to expect. So Uttanka asked him, what should I do? He said, you have to eat the dung of this bull and drink the urine of this bull. Imagine somebody tells you like that. It's like bullying, isn't it? So now Uttanka, he was not sure whether he wants to do it. He said, why should I do it? This man said, your Guru Veda did it, therefore you should do it. The moment he took Guru's name, the whole dynamics changed. So Uttanka realized, I need to go further from here. If this fellow is going to stop me, I can't get my, results. So I said, he was ready to do whatever he says. And Uttanka said, I will do it because you said my Guru did it. Having faith in my Guru, I'll do it. So Uttanka went back and ate the dung of the bull. And then he lied on the floor. He was going to drink the urine of the bull. He closed his eyes and the bull was urinating right into his mouth. And as he was going through this very intense experience, suddenly he felt someone tapping on his shoulders. He opened his eyes and he saw there was a man tapping on his shoulders. And Uttanka was lying in the middle of the road. And there was no bull on top of him. There was no man on top of that bull. Now Uttanka didn't know whether he was dreaming or what was real. And this man asked him, what are you doing lying on the road here like this? So Uttanka got up and he realized maybe this was an illusion and he ran away from there. So as Uttanka ran from that place, he was desperate to reach where King Pushya was. Whenever we do anything in life, we can do it because of love or we can do it out of fear. When we chant the holy names of the Lord, we can do it because if we don't chant, then we'll go to hell. Or we can do it because we chant because we love Krishna. So for everything we do in life, we can do it because we fear that we will lose something, or we fear we will experience something bad in life, or we do it because we want to experience love. We want to experience something good in life. So here, Uttanka had an option. He had to eat the dung and drink that urine. There was no option about that. But with what mindset he had to do it? One, he had to do it because he was being bullied to do it. And the second, he wanted to do it because thinking that my guru has done it, so I will do simply following in the footsteps of my guru. So here, Uttanka, after crossing so many hurdles, he finally reached the palace of King Pushya. So as he went to the palace of King Pushya, he walked into the palace and the king welcomed him. And this Uttanka explained to the king his whole situation. He said, see, I'm in a big problem. 100 years I've already been in that ashram. And probably I don't know how many more years I will continue being in that ashram if I don't get this earring of Queen Zanena. Can you please ask the queen to give me her earrings? This is the price for my freedom. The king said, no problem. Go to Queen Zanena. She's there in the bedroom. Just ask her, she'll give you. He ran to the bedroom of Queen Zanena. There was no one there. He came back to the king and he said, there's nobody there. The king said, she's there. Then the king asked him, did you do anything impure today? Because if you did something impure, you can't see her. Unless you are completely pure, you can't see Queen Zanena. Then this fellow realized he drank that, cow urine, the bull urine, and ate the dung of the bull. So then he went and cleaned himself, and he chanted his prayers. And then he went to the bedroom of Queen Zanena, and there she was there. So he explained to her the whole problem, and he told her, can you please give me your earrings? Queen Zanena just took out her earrings, straight away give it to him. He said, wow, that's it. Problem solved. I got the earrings. Queen Zanena told him, I'm giving you the earrings, but don't think you will reach the ashram easily. This earrings is a mystical earrings. As long as it is with me, it is safe. But the moment you take it away from the palace, that's when people will be after these earrings. And there's one specific person called Takshak, the snake. He is after these earrings for a long period of time. The moment you step out of this palace, you be careful. So like that, she gave him a warning. So he said, okay, I'll be very careful. And he went away from there with great joy. As Uttanka was moving away, going towards the ashram, he was almost on the verge of reaching the ashram. Just a little distance away. And before he reached the ashram, Uttanka saw a huge lake, a beautiful lake, crystal clear water. And then he thought, anyway, I'm going to reach the ashram in few minutes. Before I go in, let me just have a nice bath, enjoy myself a little bit, I've been suffering so much in all these years. So let me have a little picnic, enjoy myself with a little swim in the water. Then I'll go in. Anyway, I've reached, well before sunset, So Uttanka removed his clothes and he went into the lake to have a bath. As he was having a bath in the lake, on the banks of the lake, he saw one man, completely naked Baba, the sadhu, And this naked Baba was looking at him very strangely. And he started walking towards the clothes of Uttanka. He picked up the clothes of Uttanka, he did like this. The earrings fell. And this fellow showed him the earrings and ran away from there. He took the earrings and ran. Uttanka realized he has messed up. Imagine, just 10 minutes away he would have reached the ashram. And in the process of trying to have a bath over here, this fellow he stole the earrings and ran. Uttanka ran out of the lake, wore his clothes, and started chasing that naked Baba. And the naked Baba was running at full speed. And Uttanka was almost reaching that Baba. Suddenly, that Baba became a snake, transformed into a snake, and jumped into a hole on the ground and disappeared. And suddenly, now Uttanka is left with no earrings and he has no clue where this fellow has gone in. Imagine, There was once a little pig that was drinking water in a lake. And as this little pig was drinking water in a lake, one tiger came and began drinking water next to it. Imagine, small little pig drinking water, and this massive tiger next to him. And this pig started shivering in fear of the tiger. But the tiger was, busy drinking water. After it drank water, it quietly was walking away. This pig suddenly had a thought. This little piggy, he suddenly had a thought. Why is this tiger not eating me up? So this piggy thought, maybe the tiger is scared of me. And that's why it is not, not ready to face me. So this piggy became overconfident. He told the tiger, "Hey, tiger, come here." This tiger didn't even look at that pig actually. He was busy, in his own world. He was drinking water, he was going back. So this piggy called him, "Hey, tiger, come here." The tiger looked at him and he saw this small little piggy over there. So this piggy said, "I know you're scared of me. Stand here and fight with me." This tiger was not in a mood to fight. He was full that day. So he told the piggy, "You come here tomorrow, same time. Then I will fight with you." And the tiger walked away. This piggy was super confident now that the tiger got scared of him. The piggy went to every animal in the jungle. He started telling him, "Now I am the new king of the jungle," and this tiger is scared of me. And finally, with this overconfident mood, this piggy came to his house, and he started telling his father and his mother and his grandfather and all that how I have conquered the tiger. The father explained to the piggy, "See, the tiger's habit is that when it is full, that time it doesn't attack any other animal. Tomorrow it called you because tomorrow it will be hungry, and then when you come in front of it, it will eat you up." So now this piggy started getting scared because he understood the reality. He was really terrified because he realized he had made a big blunder, out of overconfidence. So he started telling his father and mother, "Please save me, save me." Then the grandfather pig came, who was a very experienced pig. So grandfather pig told him, "See, you have to go tomorrow for sure. Because if you don't go there, the tiger will come here and attack all of us. But while you go to that place where you have to meet the tiger, on the way, anything dirty that you get, roll on it. All kinds of dirty things, especially things that smell a lot, roll on it, then you go there." So this little piggy, from his house to that, lake, whatever dung it got, it started rolling on it. Elephant dung and, horse dung and deer dung, whatever dung it got started rolling on it. And then finally it reached the lake. And the tiger came there on time. And he saw that piggy is stinking like anything. Is stinking so badly. The tiger told the piggy, "What have you done to yourself?" He said, "Get out from here." And the piggy ran away. And from that day onwards, the pigs have a very interesting formula how to survive. So the point is that sometimes we become so overconfident that in that overconfidence we end up doing something stupid. Here Uttanka, he felt that he had done it. He had achieved what was almost impossible. Everybody had said it is impossible. And Utanka achieved it so easily. So Utanka felt that I can easily reach the ashram. And in that overconfidence, he messed up. Now, as he was standing in front of that hole into which the snake had slithered in, he was miserable. Exactly at that time, one man appeared in front of Utanka. And he told Utanka, "Don't worry, I'll help you." And this man was the servant of Indra. And he said, "I have got the Vajra of Indra. And I'm going to help you get into this portal." And he used the Vajra and created a huge hole. And he told Utanka, "Go in and you'll find the snake Takshak there with your earrings." So Utanka jumped into that hole and he reached the Patal Loka. So the Patal Loka opened up into a huge city. And as Utanka was in this huge city, he had no idea where to find Takshak and the earrings. So as he was searching for Takshak and the earrings, he saw all kinds of strange phenomena in the city. He saw a lady was spinning a wheel. It was a huge wheel, and this wheel had 6 spokes in it. And as she was spinning the wheel had 2 types of threads, white and black thread. And she was spinning this wheel, and as she was spinning this wheel, there were 12 boys that were running and making the wheel rotate, this large wheel. So as he was looking at all this sights and scenes, he didn't know what to make out of it. Suddenly, a man came riding a horse. And this horse was not an ordinary horse. It looked very effulgent. So the man got off from the horse and he told Utanka, "I will help you find your earrings." So Utanka was surprised how this man came to know that I am searching for earrings. So this man, he told Utanka, "You just do one thing I tell you to do and you will find your earrings." Utanka said, "What should I do?" The man said, "Blow from the back of the horse." So Utanka was saying, what a strange thing to do. Blow from the back of the horse. But Utanka had no option now because he was desperate. He went to the back of the horse and started blowing into the back of the horse. And as soon as he blew into the back of the horse, from the body of the horse, from every pore of the horse's body, fire started emitting. Massive fire. Flames started consuming the whole of Patal Loka. And as the flames consumed the whole of Patal Loka, the snakes started slithering out from all directions. The snakes were very disturbed by the fire. And finally Takshak came out. And Takshak came and gave the earrings to Utanka. And he said, "Please stop this fire. We will all die." So Utanka took the earrings and he stopped blowing. And the horse returned back to its normalcy. This man, he told Utanka, "If you want to return back, because it is almost time up now, it is almost time for sunset." Utanka was not sure how he's going to reach back all the way to his guru's ashram before sunset. This man told Utanka, "Just sit on this horse. This horse will take you to your destination well on time." So Utanka sat on the horse and the horse flew at the speed of the wind. And Guruma, the Vedas wife, she was just about to curse Utanka because she was almost sure that he won't reach before sunset. So she had taken water in her hands. She was just about to curse Utanka, and suddenly Utanka appears from the sky in this horse. And he lands right in front of her. He gives her the earrings and she's shocked. So naturally now she has to set him free. So she tells him, "You are free now." And Utanka was great joy. He goes to his guru Veda and he offers his respects to Veda. And he tells him the whole story, what happened from the beginning. And Veda tells him, I know exactly what has happened with you." And Veda tells him, "I was with you throughout." And he said, "I sent Indra to help you." So he said that large man that you saw sitting on that big bull was actually Indra who was sitting on Airavat. And Indra came there to first test you. And that bull, the bull dung and the bull urine that you ate and drank, that is actually somaras, the heavenly nectar. And because you drank the somaras, the fire did not affect you in the Patal Loka. The fire didn't affect you at all because you had drunk somaras. If you had not drunk that somaras, then you would have died in the Patal Loka in the fire. And then he told him that later on, when you lost the earrings, I only requested Indra to send his person to help you. So that person who made that hole in the Patal on the ground was Indra's person sent by Veda. And then below, when he reached there, the horse and that horseman was again Indra. And the horse was Agni Dev. And Indra, on the request of Veda, had assisted Uttanka throughout the whole journey. So Uttanka realized, actually it's not me, it's my Guru. Because of my Guru's grace, I could do so much. He thanked his Guru, offered his respects to his Guru, and then he went ahead on his journey. As Uttanka left from that particular place, he went out on his journey. He became a great sage. He became one of the greatest sages on earth at that point in time. And as Uttanka became such a powerful and such a great sage, at some point during his journey, he went to Dwarka and he met Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So when Uttanka met Lord Krishna in Dwarka, Krishna gave Uttanka a blessing, rather a boon. He told Uttanka, I bless you that whenever you remember me, I will appear in front of you and I'll fulfill your desires. So Uttanka was so happy. Imagine Krishna giving a blessing like this. So Uttanka went and he started traveling and doing all his tapasya. At one particular point during his tapasya, he reached a desert. Some people say it is the Rajasthan Thar desert that he reached. Miles and miles, it was only sand and absolutely no water whatsoever. So Uttanka was lost in this desert one day and he was feeling thirsty. He was feeling so emaciated. That's when he remembered Krishna's blessings. Uttanka closed his eyes, intensely prayed to Krishna. As soon as Uttanka prayed to Krishna, he opened his eyes. Right in front of Uttanka was standing a beggar with a pot of water. Now obviously Uttanka wanted water. That's why he remembered Krishna, isn't it? And the answer to that was this beggar standing with a pot of water. So Uttanka got excited that Krishna fulfilled his desires, sent this fellow with a pot of water. But when he saw the pot, Uttanka was shocked. Because that pot was not a normal pot. It was the dirtiest pot ever. Absolutely dirty. And in that water, in that pot was water, but was filled with all kinds of creepy, slimy insects and very dirty water. Uttanka got very upset with Krishna. He said, Krishna, what is this? I asked you to give me water and this is what you have sent. He closed his eyes and started really being angry on Krishna. When he opened his eyes, that fellow also disappeared. And Krishna spoke to Uttanka in a voice. And he told Uttanka, Uttanka, when you asked me for help, instead of sending you normal water, I asked Indra to give you celestial nectar. But Indra refused to give you nectar because many years back he had given you nectar once. He said, I can't give this fellow again and again. But I insisted that you should go and give him celestial nectar. And Indra said, I will go, but I will go packaged. I'll go disguised. Krishna said, no problem, go in any form, but go. And because Krishna was very confident that Uttanka can see through packages, so he doesn't get affected by disguises. So Indra went over there as a beggar with a dirty pot. But unfortunately this time, Uttanka couldn't see through it. And he got very disturbed and he got very upset. Krishna told Uttanka, anyway, because you remembered me, I will fulfill your desire. And he said, every year on this particular day, there will be a cloud that will form over the desert and it will rain water. And that cloud will be named as Uttanga clouds. So from that day onwards, every year on a particular day, on a particular nakshatra, on the desert it rains. And that particular cloud is known as Uttanga cloud, which showers the rain. So Uttanga got the water and he was grateful to Krishna. So this story of Uttanga and the story of Uttanga and the whole idea of packaging teaches us three very important things in life. These are called the 3 P's of life. The first P is called as packaging. What is the meaning of packaging? Packaging means all our problems in life, whatever happens to us in life, is a package. Sometimes we go through a problem, right? But that problem, externally we look at it as a problem, but it's actually not a problem, it's something else only. So a lot of us, when we go through any problem in life, like say for example, somebody is laid off from a job. Big problem, isn't it? But actually, every problem comes in a package. Sometimes the package is bad and sometimes the package looks very good. So the package that looks very good, we feel attracted towards. But when the package looks very bad, we feel very, very threatened by. Suppose somebody gets a very serious sickness. It's a package that is very tough to perceive, isn't it? So whenever you come across packages in life, there's a second P you should remember, which is principles. There are some principles that are very important for us to be able to deal with complicated packages. Uttanga, if you study the first story of Uttanga's life, how did he deal with the packages that came in his life? Which package came? That big bull and that big giant on top of it. How did Uttanga deal with that package? He followed the principle of faith in his guru, isn't it? Because Uttanga had faith in his guru, he was not affected by the package. Rather, with that faith, based on the principle of faith, he was able to deal with that package very well. In the second case, what happened? Somehow, another package came into his life, right? Indra came in the form of a beggar disguised with dirty water. It was a packaging. But this time, he forgot the principle of faith. So all of us are like Uttanga. We will go through in our life many, many packages or many, many challenges. Some of the challenges we deal with it with using the principle of faith and using some higher principle. Whenever we deal with a package using a higher principle, a third P comes into our life. And the third P is power. We attract some higher powers. We attract some powers that help us deal with that package in the right way. Suppose we do not look at the package using principles, we end up not getting the power to deal with the package. So, from Uttanga's life, we can learn a simple lesson of life. The simple lesson of life is, no matter what the package is, learn to experience the presence of higher principle. Based on the higher principles, learn to look at the package. Whenever anything happens to us in our life, we should remember, whatever happens to us, even the worst of the worst things, it happens simply to strengthen us. Many of us go through challenges in our lives. Every challenge actually makes us stronger than what we were. Especially if we look at that challenge through the principle of faith. There was a man who um, was very sad and despondent. And suddenly he heard the voice of God. The voice of God told him, "Go up this mountain and push this rock." So this man, he went up the very next day and he saw this huge rock on top of the mountain. And this man started pushing that rock. Pushing and pushing and pushing. The rock didn't move 1 inch. This man, he said, maybe I have not tried enough. He came back the next day, kept pushing the rock. He went on and on and on for 2 months trying to push this rock every single day from morning to evening, just pushing with all his might. At some point, he gave up. He said, I can't push. The day he gave up, the voice of God came back. And the voice of God told him, why did he stop pushing? He said, my dear God, nothing is happening. This stone is not moving at all. God told him, when did I tell you that you have to move the stone? I only told you to push the rock. And he told him, now look at yourself in the mirror. And this man looked at himself in the mirror. He realized that he had developed solid muscles, rippling muscles, because he was just pushing all day long. And just by the act of pushing, he had become so powerful himself. So many times, when we are facing challenges in life, we think that we don't have the capacity to deal with these challenges and we want to give up. But when God sends challenges into our life, He doesn't expect us to push the challenges away. He only expects us to deal with them. Because when you deal with those challenges, no matter how difficult they seem to be, you become more powerful than what you were. You become a more stronger version of who you were. So what is the meaning of push? Push means pray until something happens. So we keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We may not see any tangible results on an external level, but on an internal level, we become strong. We become powerful. We actually become a transformed version of ourselves. The second thing, the first thing that happens when we come across obstacles and we deal with them is that we become stronger. The second thing that we need to remember when we are dealing with obstacles is that every obstacle that comes, it always follows by a small grace. There was a tailor in Vrindavan who was stitching clothes for the deities. He used to make beautiful embroidered dresses for the deities. But this man himself wore torn clothes. So somebody asked him, you make such beautiful clothes for God, but you yourself are wearing torn clothes. How is it? This man gave a very interesting answer. He said, whenever I stitch clothes for the deities, I always observe something very interesting. First, the needle goes in. If you have seen, the way clothes are stitched, the first needle goes in, isn't it? It creates a hole in that cloth. But after the needle, always a thread follows. So when the needle goes in, it seems to be very, very painful. But remember that every time a needle goes in, there is a thread that is going to follow. That means when the needle goes in, it's like a problem that comes into your life. You go through a painful situation. But every time you go through a painful situation, there is always the grace of God that follows behind it. Apparently this pain, this crisscrossing, the needle goes in, needle comes out, needle goes in, needle comes out of the cloth, right? But when the needle goes in and comes out, you only see the needle making holes in the cloth. But much later, when you actually look at the whole thing, you realize the needle going in and coming out, it has created a beautiful embroidery on the cloth, isn't it? So right now, when the needle is going into our life, we might feel so much pain. We might feel so much trauma, so much trouble. But after that, the grace of the Lord goes in. The grace of the Lord comes into our life. It creates a beautiful, scenery. Or it creates a very beautiful embroidery. The needle part is painful. But much later, when you see the art of God, it's a very beautiful art. It looks very pretty. So, in hindsight, we can only appreciate the greatness of God. And we have to learn to see that whatever God does for us in our lives, it is for our good only. That faith is what makes us powerful individuals. That faith is what makes us endear to God. That faith is what brings in powers in our life. So we'll all come across packages in our life, just like Uttanka. We have a choice to deal with the packages the way Uttanka dealt with it the first part of his life, by applying principle of faith, or deal with it the way Uttanka dealt in the second phase of life, with doubt and with anger. So when we deal with packages, with challenges in our life, with the principle of faith, it brings in great power. It brings in great clarity. And it brings in a lot of strength on an inner level for us to deal with those packages. But when we succumb to faithlessness and we are not able to apply higher principles in life, then we lose that power that could have potentially come into our life for us to achieve success in our mission and goals. Uttanka's story is a very instructive story. It is one of the very, very important stories in our scriptures. The story of Uttanka is also there in the Mahabharata. The story of Uttanka is also there in the Puranas. And the story of Uttanka is a story that is always told to explain this concept of the importance of having faith and in dealing with challenges in our lives. I'll stop here. If there's any quick questions or comments we can take. Tomorrow I'm going to share with you all another very interesting story. This is a story of the challenge between good and bad. And again, it's an amazing story, another very, very mystical and a very interesting story. But it again gives a totally different flavor of life. It's a story of Kacha. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? I hope you all like the story that you all heard today. Did you like it? Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a wonderful narrative of the story. It felt like, you took us through the actual path of Uttanka. Very, very beautifully narrated, Prabhu. Prabhu, my question is, a package comes, like you said, and then there are times when we put faith and times when we don't put faith. Sometimes we put faith and then it seems like a bigger package comes. Instead of this problem being solved, we would think that when you put faith, the problem will be solved, but then sometimes, a bigger package comes or more packages come, and it becomes a little bewildering. So how do we manage that, Prabhu?
So when we put faith and bigger packages come, so usually whatever challenges come in our life, Krishna only sends that many challenges that you can handle. So if he has sent more challenges, means Krishna has a confidence that you can handle more. That's what it simply means. I may not have confidence in myself, but God has confidence in us. Now, apparently, when we are in the middle of it, it seems too much, basically. But if you look at it from a distance, like say 10 years down the line, if you look at the problems that you faced, you actually realize that it is not much. When we are in the thick of it, it feels too much. So, the way in which the scriptures always recommend we deal with challenges and problems in life is from a higher perspective. So this higher perspective is what the scriptures offer us. I'll give you a simple example. When Lord Ram was in Ayodhya and he was when Kaikeyi had told him that you have to go on exile for 14 years, Lord Ram's first reaction to Kaikeyi telling him that you have to go to exile for 14 years, he told her, "Thank you." He smiled and he thanked her. And he told her, "I have been waiting for such an opportunity. Because I've always been waiting for going to the sages in the forest and learning from them. So these 14 years are not 14 years of exile, they are actually 14 years of learning for me." So Ram totally saw it from a different perspective. So, when an eagle is being attacked by crows, sometimes an eagle gets attacked by many crows together. 4-5 crows come and attack the eagle. Now, eagle is so huge and crows are so small. The eagle hits the crow once, the crow will die. But you will never find the eagle attacking the crow. You know what the eagle does? It flies higher. It flies so high that the crows can't reach it only. So similarly, when we go through problems, there are two ways to deal with the problems. One way is jump into it and try to solve it. So the more you solve it, the more messier it gets. And the more complicated it seems to be getting. So sometimes, rather than trying to delve into it and try to, deal with the muck, the mess, you just go higher. And from a higher perspective, the problem is something else only. So there are 3 levels of dealing with problems. I'll tell you a small story, a very interesting story. When in the Ramayana there is a section where Sati goes to test Lord Ram. So Lord Ram is in the Dandakaranya forest. He's searching for Sita. Sita has been kidnapped by Ravan. So Ram is madly searching for her. And as he is madly searching for Sita, suddenly Shiva and Sati are passing over that place. And Sati sees Ram running around madly searching for Sita. Sati looks at Shiva and she says, "Arey, what is this? You chant his names, Ram Nam. Look at what he's doing. Is this God?" Shiva tells her, "See, this is Ram Leela going on here. We have no work here." He says, "Don't interfere in this particular situation." Sati says, No, I have to go and see if he's actually God." Shiva tells her, "Please don't even try this." He tries to explain to her. Sati doesn't listen to him. She says, No, I'll go and try." So Shiva then thinks, maybe this is some higher destiny at work. She's not listening to me only, she still wants to do it. Maybe it is some higher destiny at work. So like this Shiva thinks second. And then after some time Shiva thinks, maybe this is what Rama's will is. And he lets it be. So Sati, she disguises herself as Sita. Exact form of Sita she takes. And stands in the middle of the forest. So Ram is like going mad, searching for Sita. Sita is crying and in agony. And suddenly he sees Sati standing there in the form of Sita. Ram stops right in front of her. He stands up, folds his hand, and he says, "Oh mother, what are you doing here? Where is Lord Shiva? What are you doing in this forest?" He asks her like that. Sati gets bewildered. Ram has seen through her disguise, first thing. And second thing is, suddenly Ram has changed his, he is like crying and all. Suddenly he becomes sober and he's standing. So she realizes this is actually Leela only going on. I unnecessarily interfered in between here. Of course, the Acharyas explained that when Sati goes back to Lord Shiva, Shiva is meditating. He closes his eyes. And he never sees her again. And then the Sati Daksha Yajna happens, where Sati immolates herself. The reason Shiva doesn't open his eyes is because Sati has taken the form of Sita. Now he can't see her as his wife anymore. She's taken the form of mother, right? So the reason I told you this whole story is to explain how to deal with problems in life. So when Shiva came across a problem in life, he dealt with it in 3 steps. the first step is you try to solve it yourself. So first step is whenever you come across a problem in life, you try to solve it. So Shiva tried to explain to Sati, don't do this, and he tried to reason with her. Like for example, if you get a very serious problem in life, as we spoke, somebody gets for example a cancer, very complicated problem. First step always is purushartha. You tried your best to solve the problem. After you put your best efforts, try allopathy, try homeopathy, try whatever, you try your best. After you put your best efforts, then the second way, if after all that you don't get a solution to the problem, look at it from a deeper perspective. Sometimes the solution may not be in science or medical science. You might have to consult an astrologer. You might have to consult some higher sciences. You might have to consult some higher technology to deal with the problem. Philosophically deal with the problem, basically. And sometimes even that doesn't give you a solution. That's when you conclude this is God's desire. Then you conclude that this is Ram's desire, basically. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they come across problems in life, the first thing they do is conclude is Ram's desire. That's the third thing to do. Right? So first you put your efforts, and you put all types of efforts. After you put all types of efforts, if you don't get a result, then you look at a higher perspective, the eagle, right? And after you look at from a higher perspective, if you still don't get result, then you say it is God's desire. Make sense? Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I want to the 98% comfort zone and the 2% risk takers, right? As a devotees, in my journey, I try to take a comfort zone when I work in the corporate world, but risk taking more at the spiritual journey. And is my understanding is my understanding incorrect? Should we, as a devotee, should we try to be comfort zone in the corporate world, or should we also risk take there as well? Because today in the lectures, the risk taking sounded more positive and vibe than comfort zone.
See, in my understanding, whatever you do, you should do 100%. If you are in a job, if you are getting paid to do some work, whatever amount of time you're sitting there and doing work, you should give you 100% there. That's not the time to do devotional service, right? Because your company is paying you for a certain amount of work. And if you are there only in that duration with full attention, you'll actually achieve more than anything else. The problem with us is that we are there in our job situations only with 20%, 30% attention. That's what we think is comfort zone, right? But if you just be in that duration of time, whatever, 9 to 5, whatever duration of time, if you put 100% energy there, you will achieve much, much more than what you can achieve normally. So what I mean to say is that you don't have to actually take extra risks. If you simply do what you are supposed to do, that is more than enough. You don't have to take an extra risk at all in your corporate environment. The problem with that, with most people, is that they are not present there in 100% in that duration. Because they are not present there 100%, they end up, feeling not so inspired in their work also, and they don't contribute too much also in their jobs. And then you have this feeling that, I'm neither here nor there types, right? So you don't get satisfaction here also, you don't get satisfaction there also, right? So this is the way I would at least advise.
So at corporate world, should we even take a risk at all? Because
what do you mean by risk?
For success, the 2% risk takers, right? They sounded very encouraging. That's why
I am saying, risk taking is step 2. First step is give complete attention.
Okay.
So I'm saying that from comfort zone, you come to the first step, which is giving complete attention. That itself will give you great satisfaction, and you'll be able to achieve much, much more. Then if you come to first step, then you can go to second step. Don't go to second step directly.
Okay.
If you go to second step directly, you already will be in big trouble, basically. You understand? Because you're not prepared for the second step.
Okay.
I'm saying from the ground level, you come to first step first.
Yeah.
But that giving complete attention, basically, to whatever you're supposed to do. And then if you feel inspired there, then you go to second step much later.
Yeah, because typically in corporate world, risk taking is always stressful, right? It involves stress.
Stress is always there in life. You can't help it.
Okay. But it's still recommended, but as a second
there are
step.
two types of stress. There is distress, and there is eustress.
Eustress.
Eustress means positive stress, basically.
Okay.
That's the stress that is recommended. Just like a rubber band, if you keep a rubber band on the table for 5 days, it will break by itself, right? If you've seen rubber band that is not used,
Yeah.
it breaks on its own. Yeah. And if you stretch the rubber band too much, then also it breaks.
Yeah.
But if you stretch it to the right extent, it holds things together.
Okay.
Right? So you should not stretch too less and should not stretch too much.
Too much. Okay.
Right balance. That's what yoga is.
Got it. Thank you, Guruji.
Anything else?
Prabhuji, just one clarification. You mentioned about packages and learning principles from the packages. Very safe. I mean, a lot of people in the world, they don't have the access to the wisdom you're sharing, right? That's why there is depression and suicide. Even now, we see in the world right now so many layoffs. At that moment, I mean, depression seems more natural for most people. So why, I mean, God is equally loving, and you said God gives troubles as much as they can face. How do we explain this?
Yeah. So essentially, it simply means that you have to put your best effort, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Now, I might not have faith in myself, and I might not do it. The biggest stories in the world of success and all that, every success story is also a story of failure. Right? You study any story in the world, of somebody who's achieved great success. It will simultaneously be a story of great failure. Isn't it? So only who was almost about to fail but didn't give up, then he becomes successful. So the question now is that, do you want to get there and give up, or do you want to get there and keep striving, and then you become a success story yourself, right? So that's what the whole thing is. It's not that those who are successful today have not failed at all in the past. Those who are successful today have not got complicated issues in the past. They also got it. But in the midst of that, they have not given up. That's what makes them a success story today. So probably if you had looked at their story 10 years back when they were struggling, it would have seemed that this fellow is not going to make it at all in life. So the world always filters out, and it's always survival of the fittest, right? So everybody has a chance to become the fittest. Everybody has a chance to become the best, highest of their potential. The question is, at what point you give up? So like Uttanka, by hearing everybody saying you can't do it, he could have given up that time only. Right? But Uttanka didn't give up because he said, I want to try. So to say that I want to try, it takes some guts. To say that I want to try, it takes some courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is going ahead in spite of fear. So, those who are courageous, it's not that they don't get scared. It's not that they don't get nervous. It's just that in spite of feeling nervous and scared, they still go ahead in life. And that's what makes them special. So each one of us have that chance. But if you want to give up, who can help you? Isn't it? yes, it's fortunate if there are people who have access to this knowledge, who have access to the wisdom that we are fortunate to have access to. But if somebody doesn't have also, there are still people who have been successful based on their own determination and strength from within. That's also possible. But that's pretty rare, basically. So the scriptures give us so many stories and so many lessons that can help us derive inspiration. So we should take full advantage of it. Okay, anyone else? You can put up your hand if somebody has a question. Okay, thank you very much. Very, very grateful to all of you all for your patient listening. And we'll continue the mystical tales tomorrow. We're going to discuss the story of Kacha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shuba Vilas Prabhu. It's our good fortune. Prabhu is here after almost 4 years.